If you were paying close attention in the last video, you might have noticed we didn't add a key prop, even though we're past the point where we have talked about keys and we know we need them, so we're not ignoring it. But why didn't we add it? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a library that I sometimes use if I need unique keys and I don't have a great way of getting unique IDs from the data itself. It's a very simple example here with a shopping list, but we've talked about how it's not a great idea to use the iteration index as a key prop. And instead of making up our own IDs and trying to maybe make a random number or even just incrementing a number, that can get tedious. So I also just wanted to show you this library, UUID. It allows us to create these unique IDs very easily. So what we need to do is install it, npm install UUID. Here we go. It's pretty quick. It's a pretty small library. And then I'll start my server back up just so I don't forget. And then to use it, we need to import it into any of the files that we want to use it in. So where we care about it is when we're making a new item. So when we're adding an item in, we should generate a new ID. So I'm going to import it. And first of all, we have these two existing items. We could, in a normal app, you would just get rid of them. But if I wanted to give them an ID, it looks like this. It's a function we call UUID, if that's what we're importing it under. And then we'll do the same thing over here. And if we just take a look in the dev tools, make sure I add my comma, inspect what the keys are. And if we look at items, you'll see that they each have this long unique ID string. So now we need to make sure we're using that key. So here where we're displaying the item name and quantity, in that li, we'll set key to be item.id. We called it ID right here. Now our warning goes away in the console. And if we look at them, we have a bunch of keys. Well, just two, but soon to be more. Right now, we're not actually doing anything with a key or with an ID when you add an item. So let's change that. Let's make a variable called new item. Because what we need to do is take the existing item that's coming in, which includes the name and the quantity from the form, and we just want to add an ID field. So the easiest way to do that is to take all the existing properties, make a new object with them, and add in ID set to UUID. Just like that. And then set state to now be new item. Instead of using the direct item that was passed in, we make a new object using it, extracting the properties, and then adding in our own with our new unique ID. And then we pass that in to set state. And let's check it out. Does it work? Let's say that I want flank steak. And I want 40 pounds, so a ton of it. Okay, let's inspect and just make sure that we're getting a new key on, there we go, we do have it on flank steak. So anytime we add a new item, it's getting that unique ID and we're adding it in here. So most of the time when you're working on real applications, you're working with some data that's coming from somewhere else that already has an ID from a database or from an API or something like that. But if you ever need to create IDs and you need them to be unique across your application, this is a nice way of doing it. This library is super easy. Really, all you ever do once you import it is call this UUID. All right.